Hi everyone, how are you? I hope you're all having a great summer. I wanted to talk for a few minutes today about food sensitivities. A lot of people might confuse that with food allergies. Food allergies are more of like a serious issue where, you ate a strawberry and your face blew up and you had to go to the hospital. It often shows up on a lab test with an antibody called IgE as in Edward, whereas food sensitivities often will show up in a lab test with IgG as in Gregory, or IgA as in Alfred antibodies. And food sensitivities can cause some chronic health problems and inflammation, but they don't have that severe life-threatening, I need to go to the hospital type of reaction. And I served on the clinical team for 3 different lab testing companies that specialized in food sensitivities and stool tests and all kinds of integrative and functional medicine lab testing. So I worked quite a bit with patients and practitioners that did that type of testing. And I know there's a lot of confusion about, how do I know if I should test for food sensitivities? And I just wanted to kind of go over a few different symptoms which might be a clue that you are indeed having a food reaction. And one of the first ones is a rash. Not all rashes mean that you are having a food reaction. And if you do have a rash that's been going on for quite a long time and you don't know where it came from, you probably want to go to a doctor and rule out anything more serious. If it is due to a food reaction, consider the 5 most common trigger foods: gluten, dairy, soy, corn, eggs. There's other foods too which commonly cause that type of food reaction, like peanuts, seafood, strawberries, and yeah, consider getting a test done. But I remember, we were camping in the Adirondacks, in New York, probably about 15 years ago, and I would eat gluten. I would eat like, I don't know, a wheat sandwich or something, a whole wheat sandwich, and then I had this really weird raised red rash all over my legs, and they were kind of itchy. I had no idea what was happening, no idea what was going on, but I can definitely see the relationship, like, hey, I just ate that sandwich, and then within 15 minutes, I would see this rash appear. It would disappear over time, but I definitely started to draw a relationship to it. And this was kind of the beginning for me of some serious gut health problems, which I had to deal with later on. Once I figured out what the heck was going on, I kind of connected the dots and I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to react to all of these foods because I have some pretty nasty bacteria in my GI tract and some toxicity, and these things need to be dealt with. So another common food reaction can be like feeling dizzy or headachy or just kind of like brain foggy. People might not know why they're feeling these things, or, sometimes after you eat at maybe it's like a Chinese restaurant, you're reacting to the MSG, you might feel like your head is not quite right, a little achy, a little weird, a little dizzy. And then another food reaction that's common is just getting bloated. You might remember the really popular book called Wheat Belly that was written probably about 10 or 15 years ago. And he talks a lot about how gluten, in many people that are sensitive to it, can be related to like a distension or bloating of the belly. But some people can get like bloated after a meal if they have gluten, dairy, soy, corn, eggs, peanuts, strawberries, almonds, food that they're sensitive to, and they may not know why. Some people can also get heartburn. Eggs actually are a common trigger for heartburn. They can get pain in their belly, like, what is that? There's a gremlin. There's a troll in my gut. They can get excess gas, like all of a sudden now you're licensed to kill anybody in the household with your sulfur or methane stink. That was me. Much better now, by the way, but yeah, it can be pretty lethal for people. You can get some stinky gas. You can get, constipation, diarrhea. Those are some other symptoms. You kind of like the symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome. And then I know when I started reacting to soy, this really stunk because I was vegetarian at the time and I was eating a lot of tofu. But another symptom can be severe muscle fatigue. So I would go out for a run in the morning with my partner, and I couldn't run. And I was like, come on, muscles, do your thing. And my muscles were like, we're not doing anything because you ate something that you shouldn't have last night. And I was like, what? That's tofu. Like, come on, that's so benign. But that was really interesting. It's for some people, it's almost like their body can just kind of shut down in a really weird, bizarre, yet subtle way. So you can get headaches, you can get rashes, you can get this weird stomach bloaty distension, you can get muscle fatigue. And then some other symptoms that many people don't notice is just even your eyes watering, like you're eating a meal, say it's pizza or pasta with cheese, or say it's just something you love, and maybe you're reacting to a food in there and your eyes just start watering, or maybe your nose starts running, or maybe you're coughing. These are all some subtle signs that you are indeed having a food reaction. And I would go over this, either via video or on phone with people all day long, because sometimes they get their test back and they're like, this test says I'm reacting to like 100 foods out of 147, what am I supposed to eat? And yeah, these tests are not perfect. There is some good information in them, but when I found that I really did a deep dive into what they were eating and what they were possibly reacting to using all of these symptoms kind of as a compass, they were able to draw a lot more lines as to, hey, whenever I eat this slice of bread, I feel X, Y, and Z. And if you're going to do an elimination plan, that's actually pretty helpful. It's hard when you do like all the foods at once. Like if you were to take out gluten, soy, dairy, eggs, corn, all at once, you may not know which foods exactly you're reacting to. But if you just start with something like gluten, and a lot of people do, I just want to tell you that it's all or nothing. So if you want to take out gluten, don't just have a little bit, you want to take it out completely. So a good frame of time would be about 3 or 4 months, because those antibodies, which are elevated in terms of your body's inflammatory response, are going to live for up to about 4 months in some cases. So a lot of people are like, I tried to give up gluten for a month. And then you question a little bit more. They're like, well, I was having some Ezekiel bread and some rye, and that's not giving up gluten. I mean, you want to give up gluten, you get 100% off of it, you have all gluten-free substitutes, and you stay off of it for at least 3 months. And that's more of a good elimination plan. And the same with dairy. If you want to give up dairy, you give up butter, you give up sour cream, you give up yogurt, you give up ice cream, give up every possible source of dairy, even ghee, and you give it up for at least 3 months. And that way you can see, oh, was dairy causing my headaches? Was dairy causing my constipation? Another sign that I wanted to mention is inability to lose weight. Some people are bloated, or they have a lot of inflammation and subsequent water weight. They find it goes away rapidly once they identify their food trigger, food reaction, they give up that food. So if it's something like dairy and you give it up for 3 months, and you notice all this weight loss, that's a good sign that you were reacting to dairy. So just wanted to give you those tips. Please contact me if you have any further questions, or if you would like to do a deep dive into your own diet and see what you might be reacting to. And have a great rest of your summer. Eat healthy, and talk to you soon. Take care.